Questions 21 through 25 of the 1999 Grade 8 Gauss Math Contest is what I will discuss in this video. The sum of 7 consecutive positive integers is always. Alright, let's write out 7 consecutive positive integers. So you'd have n plus 1, n plus 2, n plus 3, n plus 4, n plus 5, and n plus 6. And this is 7 consecutive positive integers. And the sum is going to be when you add them all up like that. So let's add them. How many n's do we have? We have 7 n's. And then we have to add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. And that is 21. So at this point, we can factor a 7, and that would give us n plus 3. So whatever s is, whatever this sum is, it's always going to be a multiple of 7, because it's going to be 7 times something. So therefore, the answer to this is B. In the diagram, AC is equal to CB is equal to 10, where AC and CB are each the diameter of the small equal semicircles. So these semicircles right here. The diameter of the large semicircle is the full AB. In traveling from path A to B, it is possible to take one of two paths. One path goes along the semicircular arc from A to B, so like that. A second path goes along the semicircular arcs from A to C, and then along the semicircular arc from C to B. The difference in these two paths is, okay, so we need to figure out the distance of the first path and then compare it to the second path and then see what is the difference. So the first path, which is basically right there, is just the half of the circumference of the large circle. So if you remember, circumference is equal to pi times diameter. So if we're trying to get half of the circumference, we just divide by 2, like that. And the diameter of the large circle is A to B, like that. So A, C, and CB are 10. So the full AB is 20. So therefore, this is 10 pi. All right? So that first path that basically goes along from here to here is 10 pi. So now we have to figure out the second path, path number 2, which is going from A to C and then going from C to B like that. What is that one? Well, that one basically is a full circle's diameter, because a full circle's circumference, rather, because you've got half the circumference there and then you got another half there. So you just have to figure out the circumference of that small circle. Circumference is pi times diameter. Diameter of this smaller circle or smaller semicircle is 10. So 10 pi like that. So the red path is 10 pi and the green path is also 10 pi. So the difference between the length of these two paths is 0. 10 pi minus 10 pi. 0, like that. So 22 is E. Ramon's financial institution publishes a list of service charges as shown in the table. For her first 25 transactions, she uses auto debit 3 times as often as she writes checks. She also writes as many checks as she makes withdrawals. After her 25th transaction, she begins to make single transactions. What is the smallest number of transactions she needs to make so that her monthly service charges will exceed the $15.95 all-in-one fee? Okay, so auto debit is what she is doing first. Auto debit 3 times as often as writing checks. All right. And she writes as many checks as she makes cash withdrawals. All right. So if she is making 3 times as many auto debits as she writes checks, we can represent that as, say, 3M, and this is M. And she writes as many checks as she makes cash withdrawals, so those two are equal. All right? So for example, if she wrote 5 checks, she does auto debit 15 times, and she does cash withdrawals 5 times. We don't know how many, so that's why I let it equal M. But we do know that this is talking about the first 25 transactions. So 3M plus M is equal to 25. And therefore 5M is equal to 25. So M is equal to 5. So auto debit is 15 times. Checks, she writes 5 of them. And cash withdrawals, she does 5. Now we get into the mathematics in terms of the prices, the services. For each auto debit, she's being charged 60 cents. So 15 times 60 cents, which is $9. All right. For checks, she's being charged 50 cents. So 5 times 0.5 is 2.5, $2.50. And for cash withdrawals, she's being charged 45 cents. So you've got 5 times 0.45, which is 2.25. So if you add all these up, 9 plus 2.5 plus 2.25, you get 13.75. All right? Now she's being charged $15.95 every month regardless of what she does. It's an all-in-one fee. But so far she's only spent $13.75. So what they're asking is, how many transactions does she need to make in order for her to exceed the $15.95? Okay, well, so far she has spent $13.75. Let's calculate how much more she needs to spend before she meets that $15.95. And we would do that by subtracting $15.95 minus 13.75, and that is $2.20. So she needs to accumulate $2.20 more service charges in order for her to meet this $15.95 monthly charge. So how do we do that? In the smallest way possible, with the smallest number of transactions. Well, if you look at this table, the most expensive thing is an auto debit. So if you accumulate more of those, you'll be able to eat up the cost more quickly. So if I do auto debit, say 4 times, that will be how much? Well, it'll be 4 times 0.6, which is $2.40. And if I already have spent $13.75 and I spend an additional $2.40, I will have 13.75 plus 2.40, and that will indeed exceed $15.95, as it will be exactly $16.15. So I had my original 25 transactions and I made an additional 4 for a total of 29. So the answer is A. And the key to this question is that they want the smallest number of transactions. I could make more. I could, make more by using checks and cash withdrawals, but it would give me more than 29 transactions, and we wanted the smallest number of transactions. 4 identical isosceles triangles border a square of side 6 centimeters as shown. When the 4 triangles are folded up, they meet at a point to form a pyramid with a square base. If the height of this pyramid is 4 centimeters, the total area of the 4 triangles and square is. So first, let's draw this shape after the 4 triangles have been folded up to form a pyramid. So the shape will look approximately like this. It's not perfectly drawn to scale, but that's okay. And this red perpendicular that I drew represents the height. And they have told us that this height is equal to 4. And now what I will do is I'll try to make a triangle by drawing a line from the base of that height to the edge of the square. And then I will join the absolute tip of the pyramid to the end of that triangle. And this triangle is the fundamental aspect of the question that will help us figure out everything. Now, what do we know so far? We know that this is 6, and since this was the center of the square, the height will go all the way down to the center. We know that from here to here is 3. It's just half. And I know it doesn't perfectly look like that, but that's okay. Now, we also know that h is equal to 4. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem to figure out this distance right there. And we'll call that y. So h squared plus 3 squared is equal to y squared. H is 4. So we've got 16 plus 9 is y squared, and therefore y is 25, like that, y squared, and therefore y is 5. So that is going to help us figure out all the things that we need. So what are they asking for? The total area of the 4 triangles plus the square. Okay? So the 4 triangles, each triangle is 1/2 base times height, and the square is just 6 times 6, the area. So 6 times 6. So 4 times 1/2. What is the base of this triangle? Well, the base is from here to here, which is 6. And the height is from there to there, which is, we figured out, 5. Plus 6 times 6, which is 36. So this looks like 2 times 6 times 5, which is 60. Plus 36, and therefore this is 96. So 96 is the area that they're asking for, so the answer here is C.